Hello, everyone, and welcome. I'm Jennifer Blockert,
And I'm Leonka Reina.
and this is the How to Hustle Morning Talk Show. Today, we're talking with Suzanne Alexandria, and we are going to talk about her channeling Mary Magdalene, and we're going to get some insights about her going to Egypt and a whole lot more. But first, Leonka, hello.
Hi, good morning. Yeah, I have a little bit of mystic space weather news. This morning or this week is 2/22, 2025. And the according to mysticspaceweather.com, it says extreme compression of the Earth's magnetic sphere. It says during last May, the solar storm, so y'all remember that big solar storm that happened last May? The Earth's magnetic sphere was extremely compressed. And so, according to a new study in the Research Journal of Space Weather, the day side of the magnetic spheres and magnetic pause was squashed. So, the geosynchronistic uh, satellites were outside of the magnetic sphere's protective cocoon for about 6 hours. Remarkably, no satellites were lost, and although the data transmission from some of those weather satellites were degraded, we're still able to get that information. And it's very interesting because that also really plays into how we are feeling here. Remember, the magnetosphere is what prevents the sun's like radiation from really blowing, radiating the earth, right? So you allow more ionized charged particles into our earth's atmosphere, and that type of extreme energy really affects the human body. It also can exacerbate the ascension symptoms that we have. Yes, we are changed by our DNA is changed by light. And if you are an ascension follower or believer, then you would understand that the different types of when we get these really big geomagnetic storms, those are times where more light is flooding the earth. And as such, people who may not know what they're experiencing may experience it like ringing in the ears, nausea, headaches, just various different ways in which they just don't feel good. So it's always easy or a good reminder to give yourself grace. Take a look at what the maybe space weather news might be, and just kind of know that you can go outside, you can get grounding, and definitely hydrate. The other thing I wanted to bring out was that there's a recent study that was published in the New York State Communication Association proceedings, found that more people were, so there's a whole new trend that Gen Z Gen Z, our Gen Zers are now doing something, a trend called de-influencing. So they're finding that the influencers that they had followed before, they're really not trusting. And there's a 40% drop in their amount of trust that they have in the people that are influencing purchases. Now, Gen Zers are really looking for, and this is, I'm so excited because this is exactly why we have How Hustle and why we call it the new How Hustle. We're all about sustainability and products and services that are better for the earth and socially conscious, and hustle means through collaboration because it's better for the earth. So when I read this, it basically says that Gen Zers are now choosing to be de-influenced. So they really only want to hear from people that are trustworthy, that are bringing out products that they are better for the earth, that are not fast fashion. And that's really exciting to me because it means that now we're really trying to move the trend forward, or they're leading this cause to places where we can really give back to the earth instead of, like I said, the fast fashion, instead of that mistrust, instead of you just watching maybe a TikTok where somebody's selling you something. They're really saying, no, hold on. I want stuff that's more sustainable. I want products that maybe I spend a couple more extra dollars, but that's going to last me longer and it doesn't end up in a landfill. So again, I'm super excited about this trend. It's really all about why we call ourselves the new hustle, and really redefining like how we vote with our dollars, with our time, and the products and services that even Janet and I suggest here. We don't do a ton of it, but that might be something that we should start doing, and we will start, putting maybe forth different products or services that we really trust, and that that we believe could be more sustainable and more socially conscious and responsible. So that's what I got for this morning's trends and Mystic Space
Love that.
Weather News.
Yeah,
Jenna, how are you doing?
I'm great. I have some morning brew with a little woo
Woo!
for you guys today. I've been just kind of documenting my journey since my channel came online just about a month ago now. And so I had something that I just kind of played with in the field last night while I was in the tub. And I thought I would bring it up because it was related to our last conversation with Karen Tobiasen.
Yeah.
Yeah. But in commenting on the space weather news and the de-influencers, I wanted to tell you guys in Texas here, it is 20 degrees out and we have to drip everything or our
Yeah.
pipes freeze. So Lianka's not here because I wasn't sure I could heat up this room
Yeah,
because
our
it's
studio.
kind of, it's like built onto my house. So we have like all these like plug-in heaters. And if you recall, and you've been watching us, one of the days I almost, and it was Karen's call. I was like, I was like,
Yeah.
I need to end this a little sooner because it's freezing in here. So we found a solution for that. It's called a Dreo heater. It's on Amazon, and I will tag it in the YouTube caption just to tell you about great products. I'm so happy about this. I did a lot of research on like which one will heat up my room. So,
And it's
all right.
fast. That's what's super cool about it. It's like it gets super I didn't believe it, but I was like,
I
oh my
can't
God, that
believe we
little
heated
bitty
this room
thing.
up today.
Yeah.
I
That
can't.
little bitty heater is like heating this whole room. Anyway, I just thought it was
Yeah,
really too.
it's quiet.
And yeah,
Like,
it
yeah.
uses less
So
energy. So that's the cool thing about that, right?
it was relatively cheap. It was like
Nice.
40 bucks. I mean, 40 bucks for me not having to deal with all little bunch of little, heaters on the ground. So anyway, back to the world of mystical space and news. I in my morning brew today, I wanted to share last night. I was in the tub and I was listening to Bruchar on my iPad, and he said, Bouchard is he's a first contact specialist. And I was just laying there going, wouldn't it be cool to be a first contact specialist? And I went into my channel and she was like, how do
Hey.
you think this is happening? Right? Like, so in other words, it's like I've already gone to the future and back kind of feeling, right? But we all know that there's no real space of time. And I thought that was just so freaking cool that that was the response that I got back. So there's the play-by-play for today.
I love that. What jumped in my head was this remembering of someone saying, one of the channelers that I follow, she said there are a lot of messages that are needed to come through at this time. So, but not enough channelers to raise their hand and say, yes, I will bring forth this message. So
Right.
when you said that, it was like I heard, oh, you're raising your hand.
I know. Maybe I shouldn't be.
You're totally, I think it's too late. I think you already you already said with your heart.
The other little baby insight that I got from the end of Karen's call, Lianka called me out because I kept using this easier said than done term, right? I was just, she was like, oh, well, there's a limiting belief. There's a wookie
No,
dookie.
I said,
Send it back
I
to the
said
light.
it.
And I got called out on having a limiting belief around easier said than done. And I thought, well, let me go get more evidence around this. So I went into a deep meditation. I was really connected with the channel, and she said, you doubt this work still. And you doubt that it's this easy. You aren't one, you don't trust it. There's this waiver. And I thought that was a high awareness, and I am done with my doubt. I'm just sending it all to the light. Karen, so insightful. It's fun.
Well,
It's so
thank you so
simple
much
too.
for sharing that too.
Yeah, thank you. All right, let's bring Suzanne up. I had seen her jump in here at one point.
Here
Oh
I
yeah.
There
am.
she is. Okay, thank you. Oh, as soon as you said that, you moved. Let me find you again. I got to go down the rabbit hole of people. Oh, Suzanne, I remember, gosh, when the first time we talked about you even being on the show, we talked for like 2 hours.
No, it's been too long since we've done that, Janice.
Yeah.
We gotta get back on that.
Oh my goodness. And it just been, you were going to a Joe Dispenza event and I was so jealous. And
Oh yeah, 1 week in Orlando. That was in 2023. Oh my gosh.
oh, so
Amazing.
it's
Yeah.
been that long. Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Lisa.
Mhm. Yeah, but it's so great to see you both, Leonka and Jennifer, because I was with you like a year ago. I was looking in my notes too. So, yeah,
Yeah.
hi everyone. And I love seeing some familiar faces and some new faces. Yeah. Yeah.
Hey, I'm so
Spirits in
excited
the house.
I'm so excited to have you on because like I said, my channel came online in January and I thought, okay, now that I'm like practicing this, I need to seek more. So one of the
Mm.
questions I wanted to start with for me and the audience is when did Mary Magdalene channel come on board in your psychic intuitive world? And tell us how that worked for you. Like, what were you in a special place? Were you deep in a meditation? How did
Mm.
you know it was her?
Mm.
Or can I
Can
jump
she
in?
verify Bible stories?
Mhm. Well,
Can I jump in real quick
yeah.
Sure,
before you go there? I think one of the things that we like also to hear is maybe how you even fell into this work.
sure.
And then that led you to Mary Magdalene coming
Okay.
in. So
All right,
yeah.
coming in too, by the way. And I also want to say what my guides like to do some energy work with you all while we're talking. So let me introduce, and then if I could do like a few minutes of setting the energy and intentionality, you all might be feeling it in
Yeah.
your throat and feet.
Yes.
Like we're gonna do that. So can I also add, so I got to keep these in order. Leonka, I love your cosmic weather forecast. I have to share what came the other day through the Akashic Records, the cosmic Akashic Records. So lately, my guides have been showing me to flip everything, like flip the coin, see the other side of the coin to everything, and that started when I was in Egypt last year. And so, cosmically speaking of asteroids and things you've been talking about, they said that, okay, I love Cancun. I always feel at home, so at home when I go to Cancun in that Mayan energy. And that's where that peninsula is where the huge asteroid hit whenever billions of years ago that created the ice age.
Hmm.
And they showed it in a flash to me like an insemination hitting, like this cosmic asteroid hit the earth, caused the whole earth to freeze, change, evolve. And, then human life started to grow eventually and all kinds of other life. And they said, like, what if that was an insemination of a new consciousness? And, like,
Wow.
what? Right? What we're doing now too, but I'm getting goosebumps.
Yeah. Wow. Well, thank you for bringing that in
Yeah,
because I could have said it any better.
I mean, it's just like, yeah, like, okay, that's a different perspective. Not, it is destruction, but whoo, look what changed.
Mhm.
Feels like we're doing that again.
Oh,
Okay, so let's see how I came into this. Um, Sometimes I say the school of hard knocks, and lately I've said, well, some people come into their psychic giftings with a near-death experience, which was mine seems to have been a very prolonged near-death experience. That's what I'm saying now.
oh,
I had like in 2009, divorce started to happen, separation. Then I became I totally turned to spirit immediately. I went to church. I'm always a Methodist. I love going to church. But I went deep. I started getting into yoga. I was in corporate America in Washington, D.C. at the time. I had been attuned to Reiki actually in 2003 with my first baby in my belly. And no one knew Reiki back then and talked about it around. And so well, we were attuned, and who knows what magic happened with that. But then I had my first diagnosis with breast cancer in 2013. And that's what I mean about like a lot of near-death experiences, because I've had to face death like a lot, and recently again. And so when that happened, I just was like, what's going on? It made me eventually leave corporate because I started searching for diet things, and also like, why does this keep happening to me, which I think is common. And then all of that brought me back to Denver, where I was raised, and then happily was reunited with my husband for some time, but then it became clear we should divorce. And then trauma memories surfaced that had been embedded in my subconscious for my whole life, and another death experience. And so there it goes. Along the way, I was learning Reiki. I was trained in Akashic Records. That's my main focus now, cosmic Akashic Record teaching how to do readings, and doing readings and doing like good code transmissions like we'll experience today. So yeah, there we are. I think, you know, this path forces us to look at ourselves in so many ways, right? And I mean, I say on beautiful days, it's so worth it. You know, it's so worth it because somehow it's just designed to bring us to heightened awarenesses. And I don't think I'd be having these kind of epiphanies if I hadn't moved through and like kind of like they're showing me we're like coal that gets turned into diamond by such pressure. It's just how it's been, because I don't think it's always going to be like that. But for some of us, it's been like that.
I appreciate you saying all of that, because there are times where I'm like, I don't know if I had a near-death experience. It turns out I did, but and then I'm like, did I really have a spiritual awakening? Like, you start to second guess yourselves. And I think many people may not know what a true awakening is. And to hear your journey be like that, you know, now you can see all the pieces of facing like the death of the dying of, like, you know, maybe your creativity even, but, you know, through trauma, whatever those are, it also allows us to kind of self-identify and be like, okay, yeah, I am having a spiritual awakening. Yes. And I'm just on my journey as well. So I think it just kind of gives a little bit more permission to everyone to feel.
And I learned, I wanted it. I remember like early back in 2010, I would do Kundalini yoga, and I wanted it so badly. Like, I knew people could have a Kundalini awakening. Like, now as a priestess of Isis, I don't know what that is, but I didn't even know. But I was like, I want that, but I didn't have it spontaneously, you know, so it's, yeah, I'm glad we could highlight that, because sometimes it's more in the mundane or the hard, you know, but it's certainly spiritual, and we all have our unique path. That's the whole thing. Like, everyone has their path, and there seriously is no comparison. It's all whatever our soul wants us to be doing and working with. That I do know for sure.
Well, I wanted to ask my question again. When Mary Magdalene, and you knew you were channeling that energy, when did that come online for you?
So there was a time where I had an attunement from one of my teachers in the Akashic Records, and I could see myself, and it's very common for us in Akashic Records or Reiki attunements. It's actually super common for people to experience themselves in biblical times, because that's so much in our fabric. And whether it's actually you were there, you're part of the collective and you were there. And so I really don't know more than that, except I know I was there in some form. And I could see Jesus getting baptized. It was like literally like one of those books that are in museums that have gorgeous blue and gold painted pages by monks. It was that clear. And I was on the bank and I'm like, oh yeah, okay, I know you. And I always had known Jesus. And then after that, not long after that, I was meditating in my loft at the time upstairs in my house, and Mary Magdalene came like around, and I felt this red hooded cloak over me, and I stood up and I was just held as her, with her. And it was one of the most beautiful experiences I've ever had. And I just had a knowing. Back then, I was not really clairvoyant. I couldn't really hear. This was like in 2018, probably. But I knew I was hers, like in a very pure, beautiful way. And so I love that you asked that, because I haven't thought of that in so long, but I was just so held. And then I used to mostly channeled writing. And it started like that. And then the more I would get attunements and receive awakening attunements and started to do them with my clients, she started to come through in sessions, and a deep understanding started to awaken. And now what I know is that many of us are part of the ancestral lineage of her, the Magdalene sisterhood of healer souls. And so a lot of my clients feel that, know that, and are in that lineage, but also like we're of Isis lineage of mystery schools, and also we're of cosmic origin. So again, it's like it's become a fundamental essence of who I am. But I'm always conscious that I'm me, and I'm this multidimensional being. That's one of my facets. It's how I have chosen to be on this planet many times, for instance.
Yeah.
So she's, this week she's very near, because I'm starting a masterclass with her tomorrow. We'll talk about, and she's like lately the divine feminine guides I'm channeling are pushing like through me a lot more powerfully, because they just want people to get turned on and stop doubting, stop any doubting, and move on, because it's like you don't know what's ahead. Come on. It's so good. So trust us and let us help propel you into your pillar of light, into your essence as a light being, even more deeply. So I'm glad you asked that question, Jenith. Do you have experiences with her?
No, I only know like the Bible stories. Yeah. My father was a minister in the ministry at the church, a Presbyterian church growing up. So I know the stories.
Yes.
That's about it. And I'm kind of like interested in a deeper connection for sure.
Yeah. Well, so the other day, also what came through was after Jesus ascended into another form of himself. It's known that Mary Magdalene and many others, I believe, moved to southern France. And so again, the other side of the coin of that, like I've heard many stories and channeled stories. But what I was shown through the lens of the records and the galactic cosmic perspective is that she and many others brought their teachings, the way of being light, the way of love, the way of compassion, the way of healing light. And that they said literally that the light that they were channeling then and teaching was actually how they had honed how to channel Pleiadian healing light.
Interesting.
And that's this blue light to me. I used to have my business card Pleiadian because I thought I was all Pleiadian, and now I know that's one of my facets.
Yeah.
And it was like she said, all of the hands-on healing today, like Reiki and what you're doing, all of it through our DNA and the lineage of all of us having a connection with those beings at that time through 2000 years, all of it has at least some thread of that Pleiadian light that was inseminated, like brought in then and cultivated. And so that's what I got. And and so, I studied traditional Usui Reiki and even that also, like Dr. Usui's story is that he was struck by light on the 21st day of a meditation on a mountain, and he was initiated. That was of that same essence that humans know how to channel, basically. And that is coming back online in us big time. So that was fun too.
It's so fun talking with the various channels and looking at our origin and our existence, because we're finding a lot of parallels in the show.
Are you really?
Yeah. One of the theories that I've heard lately, and it lines up exactly with yours, is that through our development of evolution, when we were Neanderthals, UFOs and aliens came down and literally injected us. They were master geneticists, and they injected us, and that is the point and the place where we became partially humanoid.
Jeez, of course.
Right? It's like that's almost exactly like a linear to what you said.
Of course.
I love putting these pieces together like this. This is absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah, and we're ready for that. We are just ready for the other side of history. Nothing's wrong. The other side is right, what we know, but they just keep saying there's so much more.
Yeah. The other day through channeling, I got, well, what do you think that junk DNA is for?
Oh my gosh.
It's like, that's your evolution. That is the areas of your brain that's waking up, that, your areas of epigenetics. That's I'm finally waking up. I mean, it's like, and I think if somebody would have told me this 20 years ago, I would have like rolled my eyes and not been able to hear it.
Yeah.
But now it's almost like, yes, and let's go.
Yeah. And somehow, some of us chose to come and be like master polar outers of it, like get into the stream of consciousness woven into our cells in the matrix. Like that's what y'all are doing, is like, oof, can you feel?
I'm like a dog with a bone with this stuff. I'm just like,
or
feed me.
I think that I was going to say, I think that a lot of people are feeling the same way too, because just even looking on the chat, everyone's like, I've read, they'll talk about the different things that they saw from Mary Magdalene in history, and then also that the Bible is saying, the Bible has us thinking that she was a scared young girl. She was so much more. People were saying absolutely. On the YouTube thread, people were like, Bible studies of her were mostly inaccurate. And I think that deep down, we also kind of are receiving that too. We know that there's something more there, and it's just coming through like downloads that you have, or through sharing the information or piecing it together. So I think it's really fascinating times.
Yeah, it sure is. And What I'm seeing is that as they're preparing us to see them live, they're preparing us to see them live in various forms. Like all this alien talk is because, lots of people already do, but there's this convergence of the galactic and the human coming. It's here for many of us. And like my first galactic alien guide came through in I was working with plant medicine, but now he's here with me all the time, and came through looking like a quintessential green alien with green eyes, and that's a caricature to an extent. But with the moment I saw him, I knew that I had seen that being, but he was cloaked and veiled in one of my first Reiki sessions. Because I wouldn't have been ready. My whole point is I wouldn't have been ready for a green alien dude back then.
Yeah.
And now I am. And now I also am ready to know, like, he is, when he told me his name, I was in Greece, literally, when I heard his name this fall after Egypt. And his name is Herodotus. And I knew that as the name I had heard of. Herodotus is the original historian. And he's known as the first historian. Now, there could be others, but that's so relevant for me as one who works in the Akashic Records. And so even he's helping me see the other flip side of history, the other sides of the history that humans have been thinking. Because there's just, all these versions of Earth, and there's all these versions of what have happened. So I don't know, it's getting pretty fun.
Well, and if you've got to think, if we're multidimensional, and it's almost like we flicker through these various timelines.
Yeah.
The Bible timeline could be 100% true for the person who told this, for the various people that told those stories.
It is. Well, it really is in that facet, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
if you like, there's a quote by Jesus in the Bible. Well, I'll just take the Corinthians one. There's another one that I can't quote as well. 1 Corinthians says, which we say in people's weddings, and I used to be the chaplain in my sorority. Like, little did I know who I was, but I read the 1 Corinthians every Sunday. I'm not really supposed to tell everyone there's ceremony, but there was. And I would read that, and it says, when I was a child, I spoke as a child, and I understood as a child, and I thought as a child. Now I'm an adult, and basically it's saying I see through the eyes of an adult, and now I'd say from our oversoul. Now we're seeing our life through the version of our oversoul. And I'm sure his original version was much more like that than the minimized version. But yeah, it's kind of just whatever you're ready for, you can have now.
Right.
Which leads me to the next question. In some of the topics that you wanted to discuss, you mentioned that your guides have been showing you that people should want to learn to channel for various different reasons, empowerment, autonomy, self-determination. But what would you say to someone who is maybe a little bit worried about channeling? And then you can talk about that as well. Tell us why, the benefits.
Well, if you're worried about channeling, I would say go into yourself, into introspection, journal, ask yourself, okay, and ask to be shown the truth. Why am I afraid of channeling? When you dare to see the truth, it's going to come through either instantaneously or maybe over like the next few days, or like in the bathtub or whatever, or through someone. But if you're ready, if you're curious about something but you're afraid, the thing is, you've got to be brave to say, what is the truth about why am I afraid? And I'll say, like, there's often common reasons people are afraid. Like, fear of psychic skills has been a source of death on this earth for so long. Like, people have gotten killed for it, and or stolen, put in prisons or made to do it as a slave. So there's collectively any number of things going on subconsciously in our DNA, in your thought patterns. If you ask the question, you might be shown something like that. But you might also be shown a real life, human 2025 thing, like, well, I'm afraid of what people will think of me. My family will think I'm weird. Frankly, pretty much everyone I know has had to come through that fear. Like, what are my friends gonna think? Are they gonna think I'm reading their minds and I just want to be their girlfriend and have coffee?
I have that.
Yeah,
I had
yeah.
some of that, and still think
Yeah.
about it.
Yeah, it's real. It's very, very real. And, at some one day I just kind of had to say, F that. Like, basically, like, if I
Yep.
run a business and make money, and if I want to serve the way I'm being called to, I cannot worry about that anymore. And frankly, there were people that I unfriended on Facebook and such because it made me feel more safe long ago. And that was okay. I had to do that. And
Look,
some of my
why would
reasons.
you want to be friends that would want to hide themselves from you anyway? The frequency doesn't lie.
Yeah,
So it makes me go, well, I wouldn't want to be your friend if you're trying to hide, even if
yeah.
I can read your mind. What are you
Mhm.
trying to hide from me?
Yeah.
Why would
Oh,
I
that's
want
a
to be
great
your
point.
friend?
Yeah, touche.
I want these open, beautiful hearts in my
Yeah,
world,
yeah.
right?
I
Yeah.
think, unfortunately, it's been the percentage of thought that it's scary and dangerous outweighs the percentage of thought that it's pure love, which it just is. Like,
Mhm.
the guides, like, in this channeling I got from Mary this week, she was saying, you guys, we just want you to be happy. I mean, they're always saying this, but she said it so clearly. We just want you to be happy. We
Mm.
just want you to be fulfilled. If you
Mhm.
want a fulfilling life, this is one way to attain mastery of yourself and your circumstances. Channel yourself, your higher self, and us sometimes, because sometimes we can see what you can't see. And we just want you to have what you want, really. And there's just not enough of us saying that that's what channeling gives you, I think, probably.
Mm.
It's been so much more like, oh, fear. Just old paradigm stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tiffany says great insight to some of the blocks that she has been standing in, that have been standing in her way too,
Right.
about the channel. And I think sharing those benefits and why we should even venture into this
Mhm.
is, you're right. I don't feel like I hear enough of that. So thank you for sharing that.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah. It's just time. Right now, I see right here in my third eye, the Nike swish, which I do when they're like, just do it. Just go for it.
That's awesome.
Sometimes it's like, you don't have to go into your Akashic Records. You don't have to do journal. There's a way to just like be like a hustler and do it, hustle it, do it. Yay. In a high way. Sometimes that's our masculine too, like the divine masculine, and the masculine here, like, seems to have an easier time, I'll just say, just going for it. And we all have that in us too. And I'm now working more with that too, because there's a time to just go for it and stop analysis paralysis. Yeah.
I feel like when I wanted it too bad and I was trying, and when finally I had a day to just say I surrender, that's when things started to happen for me.
Yes, beautiful.
Well,
Mhm.
can we go into channeling, some readings?
Yeah.
Where would you like to take this conversation.
Oh, beautiful. Yeah. So, okay, what I'd love to do is just tune in with Mary Magdalene, and we'll probably do like 5 minutes or so, or we'll see. And then, yeah, I'll be happy to take some questions to me or through her as well. So, notice, first of all, I'll say, as you start to settle in, this is going to be an energy code transmission. That's what I do. I'm a bridge with the divine holy order of guides and things in your Akashic records. And so I'm going to be working with the guides who are going to be, but you are exclusively working with your team. I'm not really touching your energy, guiding you to open your field into the field of oneness, open your Akashic field. And if you want this, and receive, knowing it's perfectly in divine order today because you showed up and you've asked for it. And if for any reason you don't, just say, no, thank you. All of this is because you have total free will and personal autonomy, and know that we never overstep that in any way. So I'd like to invite you to close your eyes and to remember who you are. Ka aniya paria karia pa kia amania ka awaria karia ba kia a. There is a part of you that is yearning to turn on so brightly. Pa ania ka atia pa atia. Do you know that part of you? Do you see that part of you that yearns to be so free? It is all of you. Amania ka atia. It's a part, but it's all. There's a part of you that knows the way. And kita ba'ania, if you wish to attune your current self vibration in your solar plexus today with that part of you that knows the way, that would be the way, your way with the capital W, your way of the heart, your way of peace, your way of compassion, your way of self autonomy and self-determination, ka aniwaria, on a new level, then simply say yes to being shown the path within your cellular structure and your chakra system. And allow through your crown chakra the divine light codes of Mary Magdalene's ascension guidance. She's a reflection of this, but there are codes that she brings to humanity. So actually today you're receiving codes that are of the Magdalene essence, tapatia, amania, ka'adia, pa'ania, that are part and parcel of the human experience of becoming the illuminated one who knows she or he is both human and divine. So these ascended masters have various roles they're playing, and they are mirrors and reflections, but they're also guides showing us the way. And they're also helping us, they're guiding us to embed the layers of light, of golden light code that are what they have learned in their humanness, in their human experience. And so as such, this is part of the collective, but it is the Magdalene nature of knowing that you're both a human living in a body meant to be a nurtured, sustainable human force of light. And let the light code, it's moving through your crown and through your central light column, through your spinal column, and let it implant, let it settle into your pelvis and down and through your legs. Actually, in your root chakra, this is a root chakra system upgrade. You might be feeling it in your feet, in your legs. Ka means spirit. And so when you hear this light language saying ka, it's basically telling your body to let the spirit in. Ka'atia amania. I'm talking to your body when I speak the light language. And I'm telling your body, because it knows light language, Tachia, Makaria, Adia, to let the spirit in to those places where it wants to flow. Amania, where it hasn't been illuminating you yet. Amania, Ka'ania, Wadia, Adia, Adia, Ka'adia. And so you're allowing that now. Amania, Ka'adia, Ba'akiana, Adia. And so it is. Tibantia, Ka'ania, Abadia, A'akia, Awadia, Ka'ia. So allow your feet to feel the vibration and then send your light. This is your job, part of it. Send your light from your feet, from your torso, from your belly, your pelvis down into Hiraba Arya, into the groundedness of, into ground with Gaia. And so they're actually showing me, this is so fun. So they're showing me to visualize yourself as an ice cream cone with one scoop of whatever flavor you love. And the triangle cone, like the sugar, the one that's a cone shape, that's in the ground connecting and with the tip is in the heart of Gaia. It's activating with her. You're the ice cream scoop on top.
Yep.
Hi.
What are you doing?
Yeah, she's a guest on another show. This is Suzanne.
So that is such a lovely, lovely description. And there, she's saying, choose which flavor you are today. So that is that's an example of a lot of what I do generally, but Mary Magdalene brought forth, as you heard, a version of the oneness codes, basically, that she embodies fully. The goddesses all represent different forms of light and forms of light codes and personal empowerment and strengths. And it's like they're all containers for us of different divine traits and characteristics. So the one that you just turned on in yourself a little more today was that one that she kept saying, you're both human and divine, be both. It's time to allow yourself to be both, messy and all, because that ice cream cone now, I see it melting, it melts, it gets all messy, sticky, and yet it's so delicious.
Love it. And it makes you feel childlike in like a beginner's mind too.
Yeah. I think they want us to be like that so much. Like this week in my mastery class, I channeled Hathor, and Hathor, like the goddess of over Egypt forever. And then at the end, it's kind of like she was yelling in a megaphone, like, we want you to be in this high vibratory state. And we're talking about like electrons and neutrons and all that quantum beingness. We want you to be like this, so that you walk around and you can feel what it's like to be a leaf on a tree, or like talk to a bee buzzing right next to you. Like, we do it so we really enjoy this planet. And it's taken me a long time to be able to do that, to be able to have the mystic be that fun, because I've been so serious about it. And and in truth, there's been so much trauma. So, but they just like seem to they just want us to play in the light, but know our wisdom and know how grand we are.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And use that power and express that power and help others obtain that potency and that power.
Yeah,
absolutely. I think that's the beyond.
To wield it in such a loving way for whatever, for your life, for your work, your life, yourself, just having a pleasurable life.
Yeah. So when you actually channel a certain energy, how specific are they? Could she go back and tell you some of the Bible stories, and if they're accurate or not accurate, is it not that clear with Mary Magdalene? I mean, can you give us a deeper glimpse around this?
Yes, she could say, this is with her, she could say, for instance, the truth around, say, what was happening at the woman in the well, or what was turning water into wine. She would do that. We could do that. But I don't think we're going to do that today, but she could,
Okay.
yeah, she could, that would be a great other show. Like she could.
Everyone, bring your wine. Bring water.
Bring your wine and a magic wand. She could, but it has to be, we have to be in a mindset of knowing the divinity of all of it. And so she's saying, when you are having fun with this, also we do want you to realize the joy in it, but also the genuine respect for the transcendent nature of beingness that you're becoming now, that allows you to reach into the portal of yourself, to allow the new truths from the higher planes to be your reality. So do that in your daily life. And yes, we'll come to you, ask us, but we do want to honor and respect that we're never denigrating the current situation and current experiences, because those are real, and many people are still entrenched in those. And it's important always to consider with compassion that those experiences are very real. And there's simply other ways to see the same thing. Just like when you're at a four-way stop, everybody sees something different, even at that four-way stop, because they're looking a different direction. So we would be delighted to showcase some of that to you all in channelings with us on your own, or in other ways. But so I'm just going to ask, like, why not today? Because it has to be, they would want to actually lay out the context and have it be very sacred, so that like a temple way, because we're talking about the Bible, and that's a holy realm that we would enshrine in temple formality. So
that's very cool.
I get that makes sense.
Tiffany asked, does she contact you all day or only when you're open to hearing from her?
She can contact me all day, but as always, basically we have to ask. Like, we have free will. So my experience is primarily they're not just like showing me everything whatsoever. I'm usually being human, and then I'm like, wait a minute, there could be an easier way to do this. And then I stop and ask.
Right.
Sometimes there's a drop in, but rarely. We really have so much free will, and especially with me now, like I had a lot of divine intervention through trauma healing, but now I've become an adult, right? And in it all. And now it's like, no, you're the wisdom seeker. If you want me, I'm here. They do when I'm teaching or like this, they do sort of nudge in when they've got something to say, though.
Yeah.
Sometimes they take over completely, and then it's a totally different class than I thought it was. And that's happening more and more and more.
Yeah, they're like, we have something to say.
Way better than what you could have thought of.
Suzanne,
I never mind, because it's like, oh, wow.
There is a question on the chat that maybe, it goes a little bit, but I'll just say it. So Cesar says, I have a question for the guest, for Suzanne. He says, why is it when I go to a spiritual side, I never feel so fulfilled.
Mm. Okay, what's his name? What's the name?
Cesar Gomez?
Cesar Gomez. You never feel so fulfilled. I'm going to tune in directly for, I assume that's what is appropriate, right? Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Sure.
Okay, Cesar. So you're having a preconceived notion that there's going to be, and pardon me, I should preface this is in your subconscious. So it's not so harsh, but it's in your subconscious. There's a part of you that you're going into the field, but there's a misalignment of what you're expecting with what's actually going to be the reality for you and how you receive. And so I'm not sure how you've been it seems like you've been attempting this for a while, but not a super long time. And so energetically right now, the guides are going to adjust your channel because that's appropriate. And apparently you said yes to it earlier. So in the subconscious, especially in the solar plexus, you are assuming one route that will follow when really you're this multidimensional being and you're going to start experiencing the realities in a variety of ways. And so, like in human terms, it means surrender to that the messages are trying to get to you, and you're probably aware of some of them, but they're not what you think. They're not how you think. So sometimes, and for you, I feel like there's a lot of it's like a lot of soft mist coming to you, but you're waiting for a lightning bolt, that part of you. And if you could surrender, and actually they're showing this as a practice for you when you go into meditation, to go into a gentle mist on I'm seeing very specifically in a Japanese mountain area region where there's trees, like those beautiful Japanese paintings from a long time ago, and mist. Your transcendent space is very refined, but you're expecting a lightning bolt. So if you'll go in meditation and sort of be like, oh yeah, she said, go imagine a mist around me, and that there's there's little light particles that are ready to show me. It needs to be a much more softened experience for you. And right now your energy, and I think this is for everyone too, is receiving something of this that's allowing you to be able to soften into receipt of the pings or the downloads from the mist in a gentle way. So allow that adjustment to be part of the connection and change of the connection through your chakra system and your light body. Essentially, keeping your eyes closed, Caesar, with this experience, and then imagining that you're looking around in a mist, and then learning to hone what goes on in your body. Like, oh, I just felt something here. Let me inquire, what was that? Oh, I saw a word float by. What does that word mean? It's a softening. I think it's a softening into your feminine nature that will equate to more transcendent experiences, because it is our feminine nature part of us that receives that kind of intuition.
Wow, it's beautiful. I'm all floaty now.
I know, it just calmed everything. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you can feel it throughout the entire call. Like it's just kind
Yes.
of like all of them.
The mystic.
Yeah.
That's, isn't it funny? I just feel like that's why we call it mysticism.
Mysticism.
Uh,
We've had several questions about how do we open to get more in touch with Mary Magdalene? How can we make a better connection? Lots of various questions. Can we kind of do an attunement beyond this that might help us open up more to her energy specifically?
well, that is what you received. Like you received. So here's what we'll say. You received that attunement. It was the way I see the light codes. It's golden. It's a golden literal symbol, and it looks like I'm gonna draw it. This one looks like this, like coming down in. There's a if any of you know the Reiki symbol, say Heiki, it looks like the in center one, the feminine part of that, or the masculine part. So you received the cool thing about today is you received her attunement for your vibratory field to be connecting with her because she wants you to do that. And so now what you are guided to do is to receive the knowing and stop doubting and trust the knowing that, tomorrow and beyond, you can hone that connection through meditating, through listening to her frequency on YouTube or, somewhere, or reading any of her channeled the readings. I've got some of that on YouTube. So it's like you got that was an attunement to her very specifically, and it's a powerful one. Her, because what she's bringing to humanity is the energetic form of light codes, of empowerment light codes in us that are of the helping us receive the wisdom of being both human and divine, angelic, galactic. So you're gonna, I'm sure they showed this mystic mountain scene for everyone. If you want to try that, use that in your meditations or come back to this recording part of that part, because then in that way, when you're in that state, ask Mary Magdalene to come to you, ask her to be known, and ask to be how to know her. And that's a process usually. I mean, you're feeling it now. This mystic feeling is her and you in union.
Yeah.
This lightness that you're feeling is us with her. So be in that oneness with me, she says, and we'll go further in together.
Great.
Fun. Yeah, I'm glad you asked that because I'm glad I got to be so specific.
I appreciate that, because I was wondering, I think I asked it because there was the questions on the chat, but there's also that question mark in my head. Did we just do that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Beautiful.
Yeah, it's so beautiful. Like my feet are buzzy. It's just such a light, it came in though, kind of like a presence, like dropping that in. But now it's a lightness of your form. And we have to be in a lightness of form to commune. Like we have to get ourselves up to that place to commune. That's why when we're angry or whatever, we feel like we can't connect because we're in a very low vibration frequency.
Absolutely. Well, let's talk a little bit about your master class with Mary Magdalene that starts tomorrow.
Yes.
Yes, and because I know that people want to take this conversation a lot deeper than
Mhm.
we can right now.
And I think while you're pulling that up, a lot of the comments that were coming through that I thought were really, people were like, yes, yes. It's that I think Tiffany had made the comment of I had the realization I've been chasing rather than surrendering. And that came from the question of Cesar, right? Where you showed us
Mhm.
the mist and how we can allow that to be the energy of it and be light. And lots of people were like, yeah, same for me. And then also commenting about how they can smell flowers. And I smell the same as well.
Oh
Um,
my God, do you guys know what? I haven't done this in so long, but sorry to interrupt, but like I believe she told me long ago that the magnolia flower is her essence, and
oh,
I have this magnolia essence, and I put it out right before we got on, and I put it on me, and I don't know if that's what people are smelling, but
Huh.
um do you know that literally, like when I moved back to Denver, you don't know this, of course, I'm telling you, I moved back to Denver. I had had a magnolia tree in Alexandria, Virginia for years. And then I moved to Denver and I was so sad to leave my tree. And my daughter used to climb that tree and call him Bob. And she was so cute. And she wrote Bob in chalk on his trunk. And then we put a down payment on the house and not it didn't feel right. And then like a week later, I knew I found the perfect house and it's on Magnolia Way. And
Wow.
I just
wow.
knew I was guided. And then there was a magnolia bush back in the back, but they don't really grow in Colorado, but it was there. But anyway, that's one of my fun stories. But y'all might be smelling magnolia. It's if you don't know it, it's such a beautiful frequency. Either way, that's that's the connection. So you've established that connect. You are connected. Your job is simply to trust and kind of allow your feminine nature is what allows the divine feminine to work with you and strengthen your divine feminine.
Wow.
Okay, so with my special offer, sorry to interrupt that, but yeah, we're starting tomorrow. So it's going to be more of this. It's called Open Your Channel with Mary Magdalene, and it's the next 5 Fridays, and it's recorded if you can't attend live. The live calls are at 3 p.m. Eastern time, 1 p.m. Mountain, 2 p.m. Central. And so actually you just experienced what she's going to be doing through me, along with like teaching more fundamentals of channeling and energetics. And so for you all, if you want to join, if you go to my site at SuzanneAlexandria.com, right on the homepage, you'll see a link, and you can, because you're so great and part of the Haut Hustle group, just use the code Haut Hustle and you'll get 10% off of this.
Yay.
And so it's my master classes are a mix of some energetic training, because I'm an energy architect, and I always like people to understand how things work energetically, and then working in your cosmic Akashic records like we just did, tweaking adjustments. I always say it's like taking your car where they lift it up and put it on the high thing, and then they adjust what needs to be adjusted under the hood.
Beautiful. So this is every Friday
Mhm.
at like 2 p.m., like 12 p.m.
Central.
Pacific.
Yeah, 2 p.m. Central, 3
Yeah,
p.m.
here.
New York
And
time.
this is all recorded and on Zoom so
Mhm.
they can get the recordings after as well?
Yeah, so even if you listen to this and it's like after February 21st, it's like even into March, we'll still be going. You could even join the last one, or just get the live, just get the recordings. Like
Right.
the energetics are the same in the recording as live. So if she's calling to you, this would be one of my my newest ways to assist you to connect through with her.
Great. You guys, it's 147. You get 10% off if you use the code Hout Hustle, HAUTEHUSTLE.
Yeah, I'd love to see you there.
I'll go ahead and put this in the chat for you all so you can easily get there. And
You're
wow,
on YouTube via the YouTube description. And you can find it in the newsletter. And if you're not on our newsletter, just sign up, go to houthustle.com and jump on. You can always get the special offers that we offer. But you can specifically get Suzanne's special offer. Plus, she also has a free link that free gift she provided for us too, that you can take advantage of if you are on our newsletter list.
yeah, that will be sent out through the newsletter, and that will also be in the caption on YouTube if you are looking for it.
And also, Leonka, do we have the link to a 30-minute reading?
We do have a link for the 30-minute reading, and that is, Jenith, you have that as right.
Okay, I will
Pull that one up.
I will also put that in the newsletter. If you're not on our newsletter, go to houthustle.com and you will find all of this. We will be sending out a newsletter about this evening, as well as tomorrow, but all the links will also be in the YouTube caption throughout the month.
Yay.
Wow, that was a fantastic call. I'm all floating in this
Jenith, and then just to pull up the 30-minute one-on-one session, I think you have that link, so she can just talk a little bit about what that looks like as well.
Great, we can do that.
Yeah, so I'll start while you're doing that. It's a 30-minute reading. It can be on any topic, basically, and through the lens of the Akashic Records with the whole team. I work with my group of beings calls themselves the Council on Harmonization, and it includes all these divine feminine guides and a lot of others. And so they can be on relationships, they can be a little energy shift like this, unblocking something that's stuck, or what's next for me. They love to go pretty deep on forward movement now. We don't go, I don't teach the records to go that much into other lifetimes much, unless it's totally relevant, and it's very relevant sometimes, but also like the future, like we're saying, they want you to move, they want you to be free, they want you to experience what you came here for, so they can get pretty specific.
I gave Jenith a bad link, so I'm going to get that pulled up for her. But
no, I have it here.
Got it. Okay, good.
At least I think it's the right one. Yeah, here, I'm going to put it in the chat for y'all, so that we, I think that
all the thank yous. Thank you, everyone who's here. I'm just reading all the thank yous, and I'm grateful to for being here, because it wouldn't have been any fun without all of you.
Right.
What came through is for you, because you can't.
this was so incredible, Suzanne.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, it's just so flowy and light, and I feel like I'm going to listen to this, over and over again, because it's because I really feel all misty, floaty, and light.
Good.
Yeah.
Isn't it
that activation?
That really an hour also?
My gosh, that went so quick.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me. I really thank you.
I feel like I'd like to have you back within, a couple months. As soon as this course is over, maybe we do another show just to kind of see what happens. I have a feeling that something really big is going to evolve in the next 5 weeks, just by you doing the course with these other channelers that are stepping into channeling. I just have some really cool sense for you that this is going to be pretty epic. Yeah, absolutely.
It's what I love to teach. I love to teach all of this. It's my passion, and so I'm really blessed by that.
That's fabulous. Well, you are so awesome, and I thank you for joining us today. Is there any final words that you have?
Remember your greatness. Remember that you are more than you've thought you were, and just do it. The Nike swish. Just
Yeah.
like, there's a time to just do it if you
Yeah.
think you've got it. I mean, that doesn't mean you don't practice. Like Michael Jordan practiced a lot to
Yeah.
be in that swish, right? But we do, and we have it, and so it's like, but it's fun and it's worth it. And sometimes there's instantaneous magic, and sometimes we go through processes, but it's all perfect, and it's what we came here for. And we are rising because Gaia is rising. We are rising together, and we're doing it together. And infinitely important to remember that as we do this, we light workers do this, and more catch on. We literally are like popping all these timelines and chords of the collective like crazy now. They're saying that.
Yeah.
And enjoy it. Notice what starts to change. The other day they said, notice how quickly things change out there now. Take note. It's easy that we might think because of the politics stuff, it's a mess, but it's changing, period.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you're a reflection of, this is what they said. Because of all the work light workers have done for these decades, and we signed up for that timeline, that purity that we've come into, now get ready for that to be known in the world. And when I heard that like a few weeks ago, I was like, oh, hallelujah, because
Yay.
I was thinking it was never, I don't know what that means, but I do know that it means you came here on purpose for this show, and be part of it, and do it with great adoration of yourself,
Mhm.
for yourself, and love for each other.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you both.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, everybody. Love to
Thank you. So many great comments. It's like, thank you, Suzanne. I resonate with all your work. You explain it in such a great way. Thank you, exclamation points. I mean, so many people just resonating. Yeah. Thank you. Insightful call.
Swish on her
Yeah.
back the other day. What?
Yeah.
The Nike is all over my place. I just sent Lianka a collab with Kim Kardashian of Skims, and it looks like literally a Nike swoosh and a Skims. It looks like check mark, just do it, Skims.
Oh.
I was like, what a cool collab. I really do like the Skims brand, despite what y'all think about Kim Kardashian, right? But I just thought, gosh, what is this with Nike today?
Wow.
It's so
Yeah,
weird. I sent that literally at 9 a.m. this morning. So
Gosh.
And so many more people saying, thank you. Such a beautiful call. Thank you all. Suzanne, you are the best. Beautiful energy. So thank you. And thank you for your time too.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank
All
you.
back at you. Wait, let me get those.
I didn't want to interrupt.
Message of the day, just do it.
Just do it.
Friggin' do it.
And that was the message with Karen when I had that whole like easier said than done stuff.
Oh yeah.
She's like, just send it back to the light. And I'm like, well, that's easier said than done. And now I'm like, well, maybe it's not. Maybe you just do it.
Yeah.
It's a theme of my week. It's like, just do it.
Turn that switch all around.
Yeah, right. I'm gonna swoosh until next Tuesday when we're back, and then I'll let you know how my swooshing went.
Oh gosh, thank you everyone. It's so fun, so fun.
Thank you, Suzanne.
Thank you, Mary. Thank you, all the divine.
Yes.
With us, and Metatron is overlighting us too.
Beautiful.
Okay, we're so loved. All right. We'll see you.
We'll let you get back to your day. Thank you. Just a couple quick announcemements. Always want to remind you that we believe in giving back. And so a portion of proceeds go to riseandup.org. They recycle or upcycle laptops to help children and women in need receive laptops, so use laptops or recycled laptops for education and wellness. And then also we have some really fun things happening this week, next week. So we'll be back on a live call on Tuesday. Jeneth and I will be in the studio now that it's all warm with our heater. And
it'll be tagged in the YouTube caption.
we'll be talking about the fundamentals and how to, clear your chakras and how to really transmute some of the energy and some of the things that we always hear about, but how do we do that on a very subatomic level? So we'll be talking that. And then Kenji Kamara will be with us on Thursday. Y'all might remember him from a couple of shows back. He does quantum light weaving, and he also has just a really profound, he's actually one of Jeneth's, master guides, or one of the people that she's learned from and kind of had some really amazing awarenesses in working with him since back in 2012, Jeneth? Yeah. And so he's one of our profound guests and one of our special loves. So he'll be on the show Thursday. And then, Jeneth, what else we have the Mystique Society is also open. That is our mastermind. It's definitely one of the places that we take all of these conversations and just go much further. We've got a beautiful group in there who is just so loving and non-judgment. It's a place where we all learn and really our gifts grow. Because we are really through osmosis, right? Like we experience each other's clairs, and that helps to bring those online as these beautiful master ascenders that, light beings that we are. And so if there's something that you're really called to bring out into the world, this is a great group for helping you to have that come to fruition. Lots of success stories there too, of, people really coming out of their shell, and really stepping into what they were meant to do in this life. And then we also have, anything else?
The marketplace. We can go on and on and on.
We have a beautiful marketplace that we also share. And like I said, really being the How Hustle and sharing products and services that we really believe in and that are giving back to the earth. And so we have these really pretty necklaces that are there in the marketplace, and some hats that just say How Hustle, and Jeneth's different hypnosis. So if you were looking for a specific hypnosis, maybe on addiction or how to, maybe how to do
lose weight, one's good.
Lose weight is a great one. There's just there's all different types of topics. Like maybe you might be afraid to share your good and your business online, and there's a social media one. So there's a lot of different hypnosis that will address various different topics, and she's got those on there. And then you can always join our newsletter at houthustle.com. And if you have any questions about anything that we had here, just want to share a little bit of insight, email us at team@houthustle.com. We're always here. We love you. We just want to share this wonderful world with you and create a new earth. And thank you for just allowing us to have time with you today.
Yeah. And I do another show on Friday at the same time. So feel free to join me for a meditation on Friday.
Yay.
All right. With that being said, I think this is a wrap. For those of you that want to join me tomorrow, I'll see you tomorrow. Bye, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.